I first and foremost wanted to introduce you guys to our team call tonight, and we do have a guest that we're going to get to in a hot second. But before we do that, just a couple quick reminders. First is I just got back from leadership, as most of you guys know, and so I learned so much about coaching and mentoring and how to attract coaches and how to grow your business and how to get to diamond rank and all of the things that you guys want to know about. And so instead of just spewing all of it at once, I'm going to be breadcrumbing it throughout the week and maybe even longer, depending on how many topics I can think of. So pay attention in the Fit Vibes Tribe team page for all of that stuff. And tomorrow I'm going to be going live about everything that I learned of how to successfully have a launch to grow your business. And I got all of the tips from Kate Schultz, I think that's how you say her name. She is the one where she was a brand new coach and hit Success Club 40. So she signed up 20 people in her first 3 weeks and hit diamond in 3 weeks, all by what I'm about to tell you guys tomorrow. So tune into that. And then secondly, Super Saturday is in 2 weeks. It's the November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, all over the US, Canada, and UK. So be sure to check the events tab in your online office. You just enter your zip code and see what one is closest to you. I know I'm going to be speaking at the one in Connecticut, and a bunch of us are from the Boston area and Western New York, but they're all over. So post in our team page where you're going to be going so that maybe we can meet up with a few of you guys. All right, now for what you really came for. Our guest is Brad Bizjack. He is amazing, you guys. So he is going to talk to us all about mindset and motivation and how to, here I wrote it down, how to overcome negative self-talk, how to crush your fear, and how to silence limiting beliefs. And so he's going to dive into that, but he's also a mindset coach and inspirational speaker. He has a podcast that's called Path to Mindset Mastery. Like anything that you guys want to know about mindset and motivation, getting your mojo and momentum back, he's going to spew it all on us now. So welcome, Brad. Right as you grab a sip of water.
There we go. What's up, guys? How's it going? Happy Monday night. I hope everyone's doing super awesome. And Samantha and Gretchen, are you in the exact same room?
We are, and we're twins too, so that might throw you off.
I was like, wait a second. This is blowing my mind a little bit. But thank you guys so much for having me. I truly appreciate your time. I do not take this opportunity lightly, and my goal tonight is just to bring you above and beyond value, to help you master this thing, master your noggin, right? Just like Dory says, or whatever Crush says in Finding Nemo, right? Master your noggin. And because there's all this stuff that goes on up here that holds you back from your dreams, it can be your biggest asset or your biggest liability if you don't learn how to master it. So this is about overcoming negative self-talk. This is about getting over all the things that are getting in the way of you becoming the leader that deep down you're meant to be. So before we get started, make sure your phones are on silent. If you're doing the Instagram story thing, take your picture for Instagram, put it aside, do it later. If you have kids, put them in a closet. Whatever you gotta do, be present here. Just kidding, don't put your kids in the closet. Be fully present, and I promise it'll be worth your time. And let's start with some participation. Type in the chat box, what's a really big goal you have for the end of the year? What's a really big goal? And there's a really cool thing about this goal that you're gonna type in. There's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. If you have thought about a goal, that literally means it's possible for you to do it. So there's a recipe, right? There are ingredients in that recipe, but something you might miss is the way you go about using your ingredients is what matters most. So what does that mean? You can invite 1 billion people to your challenge group, but if your mindset's off, they're not gonna do anything, right? You're gonna repel them. You can have the best training for your team in the whole world, but if your mindset's off, they're not gonna do anything. In fact, have you guys ever asked the question, like anytime in your business, why isn't my team growing? Have you ever said that, right? You're gonna learn why that is in this call. You could put hours and hours and hours into a support group for your clients, but if your mindset's off, they're not gonna feel like you're actually trying to help them. So my point is, what goes on in your mind, your mindset, your self-talk is by far and above the most important piece of all of this. Well, you've heard that before, right? How many of you guys type yes if you've heard the cliche, change your thinking, change your life, right? You've heard that before. But instead of just knowing that, you're gonna learn how to start applying it, especially when you're in a place where you don't really want to apply it. Like, have you ever noticed when you're pissed off, you kind of want to stay pissed off? Or if you're sad, you kind of want to stay sad. And if your husband or friend tries to make you feel better, you're like, dude, screw up, go away, right? Like, you don't want to be fixed in the moment. So we're gonna learn how to break through that. So it doesn't take you like 3 weeks to bounce back. It takes you 3 minutes. and it's going to be really awesome. So full disclosure, just moved to Chicago, didn't realize how many sirens there are. And so there might be a little loud outside. So we're getting used to that. But let's talk about where negative self-talk comes from. Where does it come from? Where do these limiting beliefs come from? I'm going to show you with a couple of stories where mine came from. And I'm going to show you how I turn them around into a tool for my success and my happiness. And the reason I share these with you is to show that everyone's got shit they deal with. Everyone, right? There's not one person on this call that doesn't have pain in their life. Every single person does, but it's about using that pain to create greatness, because pain in your life is guaranteed. Suffering is a choice. Pain in your life is guaranteed. Suffering is a choice. So growing up, I had an emotional roller coaster of a childhood, and it gave me some limiting beliefs about how life was. And I'm curious, how many of you at any point in your life, past or present, can relate to the topic of money stress? Any point, type yes if that's you. I remember growing up, my parents would scream and fight and yell about money every day. That's not hyperbole for this call. Every single day. And they would scream, and my dad would work 90, 100-hour weeks to barely get by. It wouldn't matter if he got a pay raise. It was too much month at the end of the money. And there was just always this tension about it. And it ended up leading to their divorce. Ended up leading to a lot of pain. And I remember thinking money is bad. Money rips relationships apart. Money is something that you have to work your ass off to never have. And I just hated it. Because whenever it came up, it seemed like someone was about to get punched in the face. And that never happened. But all the stress around it made me hate and fear money. By a show of hands, how many of you guys think that more money could lead to freedom in your life one day? Like money equals freedom, right? But how many of you guys keep your hand up if you also think that money equals pain in some way? Do you see the conflict? Do you see how if you want to sprint 100 miles an hour in one direction, there's going to be chains around your ankles holding you there? You can't go both ways at the same time, right? So we have to resolve that inner conflict. In fact, there are 3 things that if you ever want to blow your business up, you have to master. Number 1 is you have to resolve your inner conflicts. You have to resolve your inner conflicts, changing what the past means to you, just focusing on forgiving the people that hurt you. And in fact, Coley, money can be one of the beautiful things in your life. Money can suck or it can be great. It's all perception. So number 1 is changing what the past means to you and resolving your inner conflicts. Number 2 is shattering limiting beliefs. Shattering limiting beliefs. Money would be one of those limiting beliefs that we need to shatter. And number 3 is we need to close the gap between where we are and where we want to be by not having our happiness dependent on goals. And we're going to talk about that today a lot. I'm going to talk about a lot of what, and at the end, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to work with me. If you find this content helpful, I'm going to give you an opportunity to go so much deeper. Tonight's going to be the what. When we work together on a deeper level, that's going to be the how. So let's dive in. I had that limiting belief about money. I wanted to create change. I wanted to help people. I wanted to live a life of freedom. I wanted the 6-figure income. But money's bad. It held me back, right? And on top of the money, I had a really tough relationship with my mom. How many of you guys have a person in your life, past or present, where it's almost like they're really good at manipulating you into feeling guilty for how you acted, even if you did the right thing, right? It's like you're walking on eggshells around them. You don't know who you have to be to feel worthy of their love. Anyone have a person like that in their life? That was something that I struggled with for a very, very long time. And I've forgiven my mom, whole other topic that I'll teach you in the program. But my point is that I never felt like I was enough for her. I never felt like I was enough growing up. I didn't know if I needed to shut up and go away. I didn't know if she wanted me to be present and laugh and play. I never knew who I had to be. So translate that into my adult life. I craved validation. I never gave myself permission to thrive. I needed other people to say, yeah, that's a good idea. You should go for that. I needed people to show me that I was enough. I put myself in situations where I could be praised, right? How many of you guys know Autumn Calabrese, right? I literally got into the 21-day fixed test group 7 years ago just to show people that I was enough, right? Like that's how it was. And it hurt. It hurt to feel like I'm not enough. So you can imagine when I wanted to go after these big dreams and serve all these people, but I'm not enough. Do you see how that might hold me back from doing it, right? So you might have a totally different story, but where can you relate? What limiting belief or beliefs do you have now because of something that happened years ago, or a failure or a trauma that you haven't changed the meaning of yet? Because when you go through pain or a struggle or trauma, that's where your beliefs are formed. So when I started in business 7 years ago, it didn't matter how many people I invited. It didn't matter how many social media posts I put up. It didn't matter how many team calls I signed up to speak on. It didn't matter what I did. I just felt stuck. Type yes if you feel stuck in any part of your life in some way, shape, or form where you're going, is success actually possible for me? That's where I was in my life for a very long time. And I remember one time, my bank account overdrafted again. Too much money into the money. Spitting image of the fear that I didn't want to have in my life, right? And I remember just, excuse my language, just being like, man, like I'm done with this. Enough is enough. And I remember Darren Hardy said, if I ever want to change my life, I have to invest 10% of what I earn into my personal growth, right? Jen Sincero talked about it in You Are a Badass. Get out the credit card. So I hired the coach, went to the seminar, and I figured out what was going on. I figured it out, right? I did it. I went on this journey of changing my whole life and reversing these limiting beliefs, getting over negative self-talk. And I went on this journey of becoming the man that I am today, that I'm proud to be today. It led me to what I do now, which is help people break through the same stuff that I went through, right? So I tell you this because when I tried to build a business, the overwhelming amount of negative self-talk and the lack of belief in the secret obstacles that I didn't even realize were happening, they stopped me. And so I created a system to overcome that. We can't go through that all in an hour, but we can start to understand what we need to do to break through it. So let's start with number one. Write this in your notes. Your thoughts are always the reason. Your thoughts are always the reason. The first thing you can do is change the way you think. And you've heard that before, cliche, right? But I'm talking about rewiring the supercomputer of your mind. Rewiring the way you respond to challenge. Rewiring the way you respond to pain. Rewiring the way you see memories from your past. So have you ever been like in the shower, and just bear with me, it's not weird. Have you ever been like in the shower and there's all these crazy voices in your head? Like it's a pinball machine of like all the shit going on in your life, right? And it's like you can't control it. One of the best ways to identify what your limiting beliefs are is to take a shower, because you're going to hear them in there, right? Because you're alone with your thoughts, right? So you start to tell yourself these stories. Money is bad. Building a team is hard. My teammates won't do anything. It's so much easier for Samantha. I'm not enough. Will I ever be successful? And if you say that crap enough times, what happens? You believe it. So put this in your notes. Whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you will believe whether it's true or not. Whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you will believe whether it's true or not. How many of you guys have ever been with your friends over the years and to sound cooler than you are, you exaggerate a story? Raise your hand, be honest. Be honest. Exaggerate a story to sound cooler than you really are, right? And so you exaggerate your story, and then you get a lot of laughs, a lot of attention. So the next time you get back together with those friends, you exaggerate that story again, don't you? Then you do it again and again. Then you find yourself 5 years into the future sharing the story, not even knowing what part of the story is real or not. You know what I'm talking about? Am I crazy, right? You just say it with so much conviction, so much passion that you believe it's true, right? The same thing happens with negative self-talk, only instead of it being a fun party topic, it ruins your life. And this is where we start, our default setting. It creates inner conflict. It changes the way we lead our entire life. How many of you guys feel like things are kind of forced sometimes in your business, like the forced action? It comes from our beliefs, which we need to shatter the limiting ones, right? So to change this, obviously you have to believe that you're enough before the evidence of your business will ever say that you're enough. You have to. And I can teach you how to do that. We can't do it all tonight, but I can start the process of it here. So how though? How do you do it when the evidence of your life is not saying that you're enough to build a business? How do you do that? To start the process, we need to understand that your life is a reflection of the habitual questions you ask yourself. You change your beliefs. You start the process of changing your beliefs by changing your questions. Have you ever noticed why affirmations don't work that well for you? You ever notice that? Like if you do affirmations, what happens when you go, I'm a 6-figure earning Beachbody coach? Your brain goes, bullshit, right? You know, it goes, no, you're not, right? Or I'm completely debt free. No, you're not, right? Your brain like logically calls it out. But if we ask ourselves a question that leads us to what we want, your brain looks for an answer. For example, how could I earn 6 figures in my business? Your brain doesn't call BS. Your brain goes, I wonder, right? So have you ever faced a point in your life where you're trying to convince yourself that you're good enough or deserve something great, but you never actually believe it? Like you want to believe it, but you just don't. Like you do a vision board or a goal setting exercise and you have the mansion, the debt-free sign, the Lexus, the 100K, whatever the goals are, right? And you got the beautiful things on there. And you know that if you achieve one of those, like Shalene calls it a push goal, right? If you achieve one of those, it would change your whole life. Everything would be different. You all know what goal that is for you right now, whether it's weight loss, money, business, anything. You have that one goal that would change anything. And you look at it and you're going, that would be so incredible, but there's that little voice back here, right? That little voice that says, you're never gonna do that. You're never gonna make that happen. And guys, if you can make sure your line is muted, that'd be super duper helpful. But you're like, I'm never gonna do that. It's like you already know you're gonna fail, right? Before you start. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? I'm not crazy, am I? Okay, cool. Like there's that little voice back there whispering doubt and insignificance into your subconscious mind. We have to change that. We have to change it. We can do it by changing our questions. So if you focus on asking bad questions, you get bad answers. An example of that would be, why is my business stuck, right? How many of you guys have ever asked that? Why is my business stuck? Or why am I not growing in my business? Or why is my volume lower? That's why. So many people, the reason why your business isn't growing the way you want is because you're obsessed over why you're stuck instead of being obsessed with your dreams. And you're focusing on what you don't want instead of what you want. So let's do an example in real life to show you what I mean. Look around the room you're in right now and count up the number of things you can find that are red. Ready, go. Count the number of things that are red. I'm excited to see Samantha and Gretchen look at each other. Look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red. Keep looking for red, look for red, look for red. Count the things that are red, look for 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 red. Count the things that are red, look for red, look for red. Oh my gosh, red, look for red, look for red, look for red. Keep looking for red, look for red. Why are you staring at me? Look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red. Awesome. Type in that chat box. How many things did you find that were red? What do we got? 9, 5, 1, 3, 6, 4, 6. You guys all passed. You all passed the test. Amazing, amazing work, right? But question, how many things did you find that were blue? No idea. Why? Why? Because you weren't looking for blue. But check this out. How much beach body blue do you have in that room of yours right now? Look around the room and count up all that blue. Ready, go. Look for blue, look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. Keep looking for blue, look for blue. Look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. Keep looking for blue, look 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 for blue. Some of you are still staring at me. Look for blue, look for blue, look for blue. I'm not blue, am I? Look for blue, 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 look for blue. Keep looking for blue, look 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 for blue. Awesome. Type in that chat box. How many more things did you find that were blue this time? Holy cow. And how many of you even saw green, pretended it was blue, just so you would feel successful at this exercise? You know who you are. So what's my point here? When you focus on what you don't want, red, you never see blue, your dreams. And when you see your dreams, you never see red, what you don't want, right? So when you focus on what you don't want, red, that's doubt, that's skepticism, that's pain. These thoughts grow in your mind like weeds, meaning it is natural for your brain to find what you don't want. If you're ever mean to yourself, it's your brain doing its job. Because why does this happen, by the way? Because your brain doesn't care if you hit your goals. Your brain doesn't care if you're happy. Your brain doesn't care if you hit 5-star, 10-star, or elite, or whatever it is. Your brain's primary job is to make sure you survive. It's a survival mechanism. So at any moment in time, it's looking for what to protect you from. So it's saying, don't go for that big dream. Let's be more realistic, without realizing that realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity. That's what's going to hold you back in life. And so the reason for this is because millions of years ago, you weren't worried about Instagram Live. You were worried about a saber-toothed tiger hiding in the bushes that was going to eat your baby. That's what you were worried about, right? And we haven't evolved much since then. So now we equate the same amount of fear from like a Facebook Live or whatever to a tiger attack. And it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense. You're laughing about it, right? It doesn't make sense. But that's why if you're ever mean to yourself, this is why. So that's why Jim Rohn says, stand guard at the gates of your mind or weeds grow automatically. Meaning, unless you condition your mind to focus on blue, what you want, your dreams, what will you automatically see? Red, right? So let's apply this to your business. Ask yourself this right now. Why am I not enough to build my business? Try it. Why am I not enough to build my business? Ugh. Doesn't taste very good, does it? Right? And even when you read positive thinking, self-help books, it doesn't change the fact that you have that voice that says you're not enough, right? So I shared a couple of mine. I had plenty more, still have plenty more. Why am I not enough? And why is money so bad? Or why does money suck, right? Like those were some of mine. What are yours? Type yes. There's going to be a yes fest going on. If you've ever asked yourself this on a regular basis, why isn't my team doing anything? Why can't I get it right? Why don't people want to join me? How come I always mess it up? Why am I so fat? Why am I so broke? Why do I never catch a break? Why is it so much easier for other people? Will success actually ever be possible for me? Why can't I do anything right? Why is it so much easier for other people? Will I always be this stuck? How many of you guys are assholes to yourself like that? Like, be honest, seriously. A lot of people, right? Everyone, right? It doesn't feel good. It hurts. And I bet it leads to a lot of pain, a lot of procrastination, looking at life so frustrated with the results you're getting, knowing that deep down you're meant for so much more. But no matter how much someone tells you they believe in you, and no matter what books you read, you're doing the things, right? You're trying. It's like you have that voice that you can't turn off. So how do we do this? Well, when you set a goal, your dominant beliefs determine if that goal comes true. And goal setting is nothing more than the process of trying to create a new reality as opposed to your current reality. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is how much time you spend looking for red versus looking for blue. That's it. Until that language is consistently blue, you're going to find yourself stuck, right? So please understand that your entire life can change by asking more empowering questions. When you say, why is it so hard to build my team? You look for the answer. So what if you intentionally reverse it? If you're going to get an answer anyways, if your brain's a Google search engine, you're going to get an answer anyways, why not be intelligent and type in a question that's going to lead to a better life, right? And it's like when you say, why is it so hard to build my team? What does your brain do? It finds all the reasons why it's so hard to build your team. That's what you focus on. So you don't find the answers to your biggest challenges. When you sit down to work, you're literally looking for why you're not capable. So you don't send invites. You refresh your online office 1,000 times to see if your volume grew, right? And what's crazy, you know everyone's done that, right? And what's crazy is there's amazing people and opportunities that stumble across your life every day to learn and grow. But because your software is running on why is it so hard, you won't even notice them. You won't even notice that single mom that's standing behind you in the grocery store checkout line that has high cholesterol that you could change or save her life with Shakeology in this business. Change everything for her. But you won't even notice her because it's so hard, because you don't know enough people. Does that make sense? Wherever focus goes, energy flows. But here's the key. One of the biggest things you need to understand is you need to ask yourself the right questions. Because what a lot of people will do is they'll try to ask themselves empowering questions, but they'll say things like, why is it so hard, or why is it so easy to no longer sabotage myself? Is that actually an empowering question? Nope. Because what are you focused on? You're focused on the sabotage. Right? So one of the biggest things you ever need to do if you ever want to break through in your business and your life is learn the right empowering questions to ask yourself. When you can do that and you switch the questions you ask yourself, program your mind with them on a regular basis. Like my mom thought I was crazy, or not my mom thought I was crazy, my wife, I didn't say my mom. My wife probably thought I was crazy, right? I literally recorded my empowering questions on my phone and I listened to them while I slept at night. Disclaimer, don't choke yourself with a headphone. Right? But I would listen to them while I slept at night. And I programmed my mind because I knew that unless I flooded my mind with what I wanted, I'd automatically find what I didn't want. Does that make sense? So how many of you guys are in a relationship or married? Want to know a question that can change your relationship forever? What would happen if every day before your spouse got home from work or got home from wherever you got home, whatever it is, you had an alarm that went off on your phone 5 minutes before that said, why is it so easy to fall in love with him again today? Just saying. Everything could change. Everything. And this doesn't just affect your business. It affects your whole life. In my program, I'll teach you what questions to ask. I'll teach you how to find what your limiting ones are and reverse them. That's coming in there. But the first thing to know is if you want to shatter your limiting beliefs, you have to know. You have to reverse the questions you ask yourself, or else you're going to be stuck. Does that make sense? Is this helpful? I think you guys can use this in your life and your business. By the way, real quick to add on, you don't need to have the answer to your empowering question. Like, because you know, when you know what you want and why you want it, the how will reveal itself. You don't, it's kind of like when you hear like, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You ever heard that cliche, right? Same thing here with your questions. You don't need to know how. You'll figure it out. I guarantee you when Samantha started this business, she had no idea how she was going to get to where she is today. No idea. She figured it out because she asked herself empowering questions that led her to the life that she wants. Does that make sense? Think you can use this in your life and your business? Flood your mind with what you want instead of what you don't want? Awesome. So I have two more for you guys. Number 2, write this in your notes. Your problem is not the problem. How you face your problem is the problem. Your problem isn't the problem. How you face your problem is the problem. What does that mean? What does that mean? Well, when you're so emotionally attached to a goal coming true, you actually push that goal away from you. Any ideas what that means? And I don't take it to mean that you shouldn't be excited or passionate about your goals. What I mean is, when your happiness is dependent on your goals, you make it so hard to get to where you want to be. How many of you guys have ever done that, right? You're pushing so hard for a goal and you're going for it. It's like you obsess over this goal. It's all you think about. But when you go for it, it's like it evades you. It's like the goal is elusive. And it's like no matter what you do, it's like it's just out of reach. You want to lose weight, lose 3 pounds, gain 5, right? It's just annoying, right? And you're obsessed over the goal, saying, I just need to get there, but you can't. It's like it's flirting with you almost. You know what I'm talking about? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Right? So it's because we're attached to our goals. It's because we have a mindset of this must happen and then I can be fulfilled. When you think that way, and in life, in any part of your life, don't you always feel crappy? Always, right? Because you feel like you're constantly never enough for what's next. All these stories are amplified in your head saying you're not good enough. And whatever you repeat to yourself consistently, you'll believe, right? So when you try to build a business from the state of, I need this to happen and then I can be happy or successful or whatever, like, isn't it incredibly overwhelming all the time to try to solve that? You're incredibly stressed. And does stress inspire people? No, not at all. When you can learn to see your challenges just as something objective that's happening in your life, not being responsible for your happiness, the challenges get easier. Huge important note here. This is the overarching focus of everything that I teach. And it's so important to understand this because when you master this, the game changes forever. Ready for it? Business success and money don't cause happiness. So quit freaking looking for it. Happiness causes success, business, and money. Happiness is your road to get there. Happiness causes weight loss. Have you ever wondered why Shaun T always talks about in his programs, if you want to lose weight, you have to love the body you have now? Ever wonder why he says that? Why would you hate the vessel that's the key to your freedom? Why would you hate your current life if it's the only way to get to the life you want? It doesn't make sense. Happiness and appreciation for the journey and the challenge is how you overcome the challenge. Most people don't get that. I didn't. It's why I stayed stuck. I was always saying I should be elsewhere. How many of you guys have said I should make more money? I should be at a higher rank. I should be at this place in my relationship. And you're shooting all over yourself, right? And you just feel stuck. And you just feel like there's nothing you can do. Like it's easier for other people and no one gets it. And you feel this victim mentality come over you. And you wonder if it's ever going to work for you. I lived that for years. Where you are right now is the answer you're looking for. Until you can love where you are at right now, you're not going to have your dreams. Now, there's nothing wrong with setting goals and wanting more. But when you can't be happy until you achieve, you're never going to be happy. So seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. Most people, they try to climb this huge mountain of success, saying, I'll be happy when. Right? Like put your dream on top of a mountain for a second. Have you ever done that? Put your dream on top of a mountain. I'll be happy when. The problem is that the same thing as trying to climb Everest with a blindfold on, right? Because if you need to get there now and you can't be happy until you do, you're going to leave the trail. You're going to go up the mountain with the blindfold on. You're going to trip. You're going to fall. You're going to break an ankle. You're going to fall off a cliff and die, right? And even if you happen to get to the top, you're not going to see any of the beauty around you, right? You're not going to see any of the scenery because that blindfold's on. But what if you take the blindfold off before you start the hike and you appreciate all the beauty around you as you go? What if you take water breaks when you need to? What if you see the wildlife in the distance? What if you appreciate the weather? What if you enjoy the journey of getting to the top as much as the top? All of a sudden, every single part of that hike becomes beautiful, right? Every part. And way easier to get to. Have any of you guys have ever been hiking out west? If you've ever been hiking or anywhere out east, doesn't matter, right? If you've ever been hiking, is it easier to get to the top if you leave the trail and just make a beeline? Or is it easier to get to the top if you just follow the trail? It's easier to get to the top if you just follow the trail, right? And along that hike, are you saying, I can't be happy until I get to the summit? Or are you just enjoying it? You have fun. You relax. You chill out a little bit. What happens if you live that when it came to your business? When you change this with the way that you talk to your team? How would, if you lived in that state, how does it change the way you communicate with your team? Do you force them to do things, or do you lead them? How does it change your social media posts? Are you desperately craving validation, someone to join you? Or do you inspire the woman that needs to hear your voice today? How does it affect everything? It changes everything. And even more importantly, how does it affect the relationship with your husband or wife? Seriously, everything changes from this. So most people try to build a business that way, from that state of stress, that state of attachment. Is it ever going to work? No. Right? So what if you become okay and happy either way? What if your happiness isn't dependent on your business, but instead your happiness causes your business? What if you become committed to your dream, committed to the mountaintop, super excited about it, and committed to loving the climb? What if you became relaxed, happier, less hurt by challenges? And what if you did this every single day? What if you did your vital behaviors not just for the outcome, but for the person you become, for the growth you experience, for the lives you touch? If that becomes your objective, if personal growth becomes your objective on a day-to-day basis, and that's what you lead with, what happens if someone quits? If you get a return order, if you drop in rank, if volume's lower, if you're going downhill? If your goal is growth, you still get a positive result. You still learn something instead of hate something. And it becomes so much easier to get to the top. Does that make sense? Living this way becomes exponentially easier, and you're smiling more, you're alive more. And guess what happens when you're smiling and you're alive? People want to join your business. They want to join you. They want to be part of it because you're alive and they can feel your energy. Does that make sense? We need, that's one of the biggest pieces of success. If you ever want to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be, you absolutely must learn how to love the process of achieving your dreams. And I'll teach you how to do that in my program. But that's one of the things you need to do. So does this make sense? I think you can use this in your life and your business. And I can give you one final tip though, guys. This is probably the most powerful one. Sorry about the sirens. Again, just moved to Chicago. No idea what's going on here. It's a little crazy out there. But I can't get into the whole system of how to live that way in a 1-hour call. But I can give you one more tip that's going to make living this way so much easier. So if you guys have time for one more, this is a game changer. This is what changed my life tremendously. I call number 3 the secret sauce. The secret sauce. You might know it, by the way, as genuine gratitude. I'm looking for my eye rollers as I drink water. Where are my eye rollers? How many of you guys, if you're being totally honest with yourself, totally honest, have a deep emotional, not just check it off the list, but deep emotional, heartfelt 5-10 minutes of a gratitude practice or meditation every day? Raise your hand. Good. How many of you guys have heard that you need one but don't have time for it? Raise your hand. Totally honest. You lie about that, you lie about other shit too, right? So just being totally honest, right? So that's what I used to do. I used to say, I don't have time for gratitude. I don't have time to add this to my life. I can't do it, right? But it's so important. And by gratitude, I don't mean the BS gratitude where you're just so rushed in the morning and you can't be happy until you're successful, where you absolutely got to get it done. So you just write things into your gratitude journal, like 3 things to feel better, right? That's not actually gratitude. That's not, unless you actually feel it in here, it's not gratitude. So the reason this is so important is because it's literally impossible to feel pain if you're grateful. You cannot feel emotional pain if you're deeply grateful. You cannot feel anxiety. You cannot feel depression, sadness, fear, struggle, shame, any of it. You cannot feel any of that if you're deeply grateful. And if you don't believe me, it's because you haven't been deeply grateful. You need to live in that state of gratitude because pain in life is coming. Suffering is a choice and it's optional. Remember, looking for blue. Remember, detaching from that goal. Remember, not having your happiness depend on it, but instead living in a state of commitment. All of this is a form of gratitude. That's all it is. It's appreciating where you are in your life. Opportunities, things, situations, solutions come to you so much faster when you're grateful for the life you already have. You attract amazing things to your life when you appreciate the beauty around you. Like literally, can you be grateful for this pen, the Sharpie? Yeah, you can. You can find a way to be grateful for it. And if you go around your day just being grateful for every little thing, the game changes because wherever focus goes, energy flows. Are you obsessed over why your business isn't where you want it to be if you're deeply grateful? No. You're not. And when you're deeply grateful, are you more likely to solve a problem? Of course you are. So let's have some perspective though. Think about this. You're watching a video about mindset from anywhere in the world, US, UK, Canada, soon to be France, wherever you're going, right? But anywhere in the world really, right? You're probably on a couch or at a desk in a safe apartment or house with a lock on the door, cozy blanket on, or maybe a hoodie you earned from Success Club. Probably going to drive your car into your job tomorrow, or you make a good living, or you support your family. You're watching your kids all day tomorrow and doing the hardest job of all as a stay-at-home mom, or maybe you have a doctor you can go to tomorrow to get treated for medical care, right? You have that. Don't you all have a doctor? Or you have a vet you can take your dog to get treated for hot spots on their arm. And maybe you have an Apple TV that you can turn on tonight and watch Friends or Breaking Bad or Marie Kondo's Tidying Up or whatever you're into, right? And most of you guys are going to take that for granted when someone's going to kill themselves in the next 7 minutes. Someone's going to end their own life in the next 7 minutes. Picture your baby right now. How many of you guys have kids? Which of you have kids? Picture your kids right now. There's a mother out there whose child isn't waking up tomorrow. There are people out there injecting needles into their arm to cope with pain. There are countries that live in communism. 2/3 of this world live on $900 a year. $900 a year. Can you imagine? $2.50 a day. A little more than that. What's that like? Can you imagine? You're so accustomed to miracles happening around you every day, you might not see them as miracles anymore. You might view miracles as scarce and don't appreciate how literally everything around you was once an idea. Everything. This computer that you're on, the phone that you text with, Instagram, this team was once an idea that this incredible woman had. That's all it was. It was an idea, which proves that you can create miracles any second you want to. We have the tendency to let go of gratitude and make it a rule that we can only be happy if something happens. And please put this in your notes. It's a Tony Robbins quote that I live. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure in life. It doesn't matter if you're successful. If you're not fulfilled, you have nothing. And here's the thing. To be fulfilled, nothing needs to happen. If you can take away anything from this call, it's that sentence. Nothing needs to happen in order for you to be happy. You don't need your spouse to act a certain way. You don't need your kids to act a certain way. You don't need to lose a certain amount of weight to be happy. And as long as you structure your life in a way where your happiness is dependent on something that you don't fully control, like what someone says or how long it takes to achieve a goal, you're never going to be fulfilled. And you're going to be suffering. You're breathing. You're alive. Can't that be enough? Like, can't that be enough to smile about? And if you're smiling, guess what? We talked about it. Business gets easier. So much easier because you think of solutions. A lot of us have these high expectations of our spouse, our kids, our team, our volume, our sales. And when our life conditions, meaning the way life is right now, doesn't match up with how we think it should be, you get frustrated, right? The recipe for happiness, if I could put happiness into an equation, it's when a part of your life matches how you think that part of your life should be. That's happiness. Unhappiness, when part of your life doesn't match how you think it should be, and depression is when part of your life doesn't match how you think it should be, and you think there's nothing you can do about it. That's depression, right? And gratitude is the solve to this. Your view of life literally determines your future. So every single day, condition your mind to be grateful. I'll teach you how to do that. But you're talking to someone right now that went through a period of time where I knew what I wanted so bad. But I find myself on the couch like binge watching TV. How many of you guys have ever had that day where your laptop's staring at you? You know exactly what you need to do, but you can't do it. It's like you want to, and you feel like self-loathing for not doing it, and you feel horrible about it, and you don't care, but you care so much. Like you know you're meant for so much more than what you're getting, but for some reason, you can't break through it and you don't know why. And you go through these perfection and guilt loops, right? Where you need to do it perfectly, send out a million invites. Hey, coach, look what I did. And then when it doesn't happen perfectly, you get down and depressed. And then you feel guilty for feeling down. This is, by the way, in my previous life. You feel guilty for feeling down and depressed. Then you have to be perfect again. And you get into these states of depression where you're hopeless. When deep down in your core, you know you're meant for more than what you're getting. And then to take it a step further, you're pissed off at yourself for being depressed. You're pissed off at yourself or feeling like you're not doing what you're meant to do. You're violating a standard in your life. This, by the way, is what I teach people to overcome. That is called stuck. That's where I was. And from doing what I'll teach you, the periods of anxiety and depression and overwhelm went from 4 times a week to 1 time a week to 1 time a month, every 6 months, year. Now, like, I'm actually this annoyingly happy on a regular basis. Like, actually, and yes, there are times, it happened a couple days ago, where I get the whole woe is me and down and useless, right? Everyone does. We're human. We're human. We're not perfect. We're human. But I can bounce back so much faster. So much faster. In fact, what I learned, I can get up in 3 minutes now. What I learned from my main mentor, Tony Robbins, is that I'm going to show you is that you can solve most challenges in your life and your business in 3 minutes. Most challenges in your life and your business in 3 minutes. Every situation. So this is something I learned from him. I don't take credit for it, but I want to take you through an exercise that made a profound impact in my life. It's so powerful. And so my only ask with this exercise is play all out. Play all out. Get somewhere where you can feel totally vulnerable, totally emotional. Because if you don't play all out and you're going, this Brad guy's full of it, you're going to be rolling your eyes and nothing's going to happen. Okay? So get somewhere where you can play all out. If you know from being on video, you're not going to be willing to be vulnerable and emotional, turn that video off, come back on afterwards. Just be present with this. TV's off, not eating dinner, done with all of it. Be present here, and I promise it'll be worth it. And as you're doing this, start to think of something in your life that stresses you out on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 7 or higher. Think of something that stresses you out on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 7 or higher. Think about the pain it's caused you. Think about how you don't know how to overcome it. Think about how you just feel stuck and hopeless. And it's like, just like we talked about, just feeling like you can't get yourself to do it even though you care so much. Raise your hand if you have your stressor, your 7 out of 10 or higher stressor. Raise your hand. If you don't have something that's stressful, pick something more stressful or else you won't notice a change, right? So, cool. You got a stressor? Shake your body out. Sit up nice and tall. Eyes closed. Trust me, just follow along. Close your eyes. Take a really big, deep breath in your nose. And exhale out your mouth. Another one. Really big, deep breath in your nose. Exhale out your mouth. And take your hands. Physically put them on your heart for a moment. Just trust me. Physically put your hands on your heart and feel your heart beating in your chest right now. And as you breathe, breathe deep into your heart. Like actually imagine the air flowing in your nose, through your heart and back out your mouth. Another one, really big deep breath in your nose, through your heart, back out your mouth. Feel the power of your heart for a moment. Feel the strength of your heart for a moment. Feel the beauty of it, the gift of it. Think about what your heart has guided you to do or to be or to give or to share. You didn't have to buy it. You didn't have to earn it. It beats 100,000 times a day, even when you sleep. You have inherent worth because this heart is beating in your chest. So take a moment and just feel so grateful that you even have this gift of life right now. So appreciative that you have the ability to experience life and feel it in your heart right now. Feel your heart beating as you breathe deep and breathe that feeling of gratitude back into your heart right now. Really big deep breath in. Through your heart and back out your mouth. And now go to a memory in your life that you can feel grateful for. What's a memory? A moment, like any stage, any time. A beautiful memory in your life that you can go back to maybe with your spouse, your kids, doesn't matter. Beautiful memory. Go back to that moment for a second, but don't just see that memory from the outside like an observer. Step back into that memory like you're there. Relive that memory right now. See exactly what you saw then. Hear exactly what you heard then. Feel the same emotions you felt in that moment. Just feeling so grateful, so appreciative, so alive, so happy. And when you feel that gratitude, take a really big deep breath into your heart and breathe it in, knowing that this happiness is within you whenever you want. And take that in right now. When you feel that, let's go to a second memory. What's another memory? Another amazing memory in your life. 10 years ago today, doesn't matter. What's that memory for you? Not from the outside though. Step in it again. Relive that memory. See what you saw, say what you said, breathe the same way you did then, experience it all over again. Feeling so grateful, so appreciative, so happy, so alive. And when you're there, breathe that memory into your heart with a smile on your face, feeling so grateful, so appreciative. Now, just for fun, let's go to a coincidence in your life. What's a coincidence in your life that you didn't make it happen, but it led to something beautiful? It led to something that you value or treasure, a career, a person, an insight, a life change. What's that coincidence that you weren't expecting? You were in line at Starbucks and you met the love of your life. You didn't mean to get pregnant. Now you have an amazing family. You got a message on Facebook and you're building your dreams now. What's that coincidence for you? And think of everything it led to. Why is your life such a gift because that coincidence happened? Was that actually a coincidence or were you being guided? Take a moment and appreciate the fact that life is always happening for you, not to you. Even the problems, they're gifts because they lead to a more elevated version of you. So take a moment and just feel so appreciative for that coincidence and everything it led to. And when it's there, and when you feel that gratitude, breathe that deep in your heart right now, feeling so grateful. Just breathe it in. Big deep breath in your nose, through your heart and back out your mouth. And start to feel this energy kind of building up within you right now. See each of these things again. See your heart beating in your chest 100,000 times a day. Feel that first memory all over again, that second memory all over again, that coincidence all over again, and just appreciate it. Just feel it and appreciate it and love it and start to well it up and try to triple the amount of overwhelming appreciation and gratitude that you have for this amazing gift of life. And take it all in. And when it's there and you feel it radiating out through every part of your body, just say thank you. Just say thank you and appreciate it and love it and cherish it. And when you're there, go back to that stressor that you totally forgot about because it's literally impossible to feel pain if you're grateful. Go back to that stressor and from your heart, not your head, from your heart, from this beautiful state, ask your heart to just complete the following sentence. Ask your heart for the guidance here. Ready for it? In this stressful situation, all I need to remember is blank. In this stressful situation, all I need to do is blank. In this situation, all I need to say is blank. All I need to remember, all I need to say, all I need to do, all I need to be, all I need to learn is blank. Ask your heart for the answer because it knows, doesn't it? It knows. It knows the next step. And when you feel it, and you have that guidance, go ahead and open your eyes, come back on camera, and type a yes if you just got a glimpse into the real you. Type yes if you just got a glimpse into who you really are. Because by the way, that's you. That's who you really are. That's the woman that can solve any problem she comes up against. Because the reality is you have one shot in this life. One. That's it. And most people try to stay safe, never going for it, never risking anything because they're too freaking scared. Never going for it because they aren't willing to claim who they really are. You don't control the length of your life, but you do control its depth and its meaning. You're not put here to experience mediocrity. You're meant to feel fully alive every single second of every single day. And I can teach you how. Like we talked about today, there are 3 things that you need to master if you ever want your life to change. Number 1, resolve your inner conflicts. Learn how to come to terms with what hurts and love it and cherish it. Number 2, shatter those limiting beliefs. Shatter them. And then replace them with empowering ones. And then number 3, close the gap between where you are and where you want to be by feeling truly happy along the way to success. When you do that, everything changes. That's what you need to do. And if tonight just felt like something real, felt like something that you know you need to learn how to do, if it's something where you're going to the next level of this, on a deeper way, something you feel like you could learn, you could benefit from, if it's okay with you, I'd love to share just for a few minutes about how you can take this to the next level with me as your leader, your coach, someone who's been through it, you saw in my story. And if not, that's okay too. There's no pressure here, right? So you have to do what's right for you, but remember, it's time to step up and lean into the real you, not playing scared anymore, right? So If you've been pushing so hard for a goal and it feels like it's evading you, or it seems easier for other people, or you keep feeling like there's something wrong with me, I'm missing something, or even if you're successful, you're just not happy and you don't know why, and you're spinning your wheels. Remember that story I told you about being on the couch wanting life change, laptop staring at you, and everyone said yes? If you're living that right now and you don't know what's stopping you from having true success, but more importantly, happiness, I've created a course that will teach you how to break through all of it. And I mean all of it. And there are over 500 Beachbody coaches in this program created by a former Beachbody coach. I know what you go through. 4 coaches. The reason you feel stuck is because you have inner conflict in here that needs to be resolved. It's not Instagram stories. That shit doesn't work until you master this. I lived it, guys. Negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, lack of worth, all that stuff keeping you stuck, even things you don't even realize are holding you back. And you hear the cliches, change your thinking, change your life. This teaches you how to change those 3 things we talked about. It teaches you how to be happy, how to attract success instead of repel it. And because your leader's amazing, we've arranged a 50% discount on this program for you. 50% off. And that's for the full pay option or the payment plan option. So even if things are tight, there is a way to make it work. Do you remember in the beginning when I told you that I heard Darren Hardy say that you need to invest 10% of your earnings into your personal growth? And Jen Sincero said, put it on that credit card. I lived that. My life changed. I'm not saying that I'm your answer, right? But whatever you feel is right, you have to invest in yourself if you ever want your life to change. Because write this in your notes, you cannot change your life from the mindset that crafted your current life. You've already maxed out that mindset. If you want what's next, you need to learn what's next. And that's why I have a 90-day guarantee on this program, where if you do the work, you complete the assignments, you finish it all the way through, and it doesn't radically change everything for you. And I'm not just talking business, I'm talking your marriage, I'm talking your bank account, I'm talking your happiness, I'm talking your parenting. If it doesn't radically change everything, no questions asked. Take your money back. No big deal. You guys know who Jen Richardson is? 15-star Diamond Coach Million Club member. She says, and I quote, "This is the missing link that every Beachbody coach needs to finally see success in their business." You guys know who Micah Folsom is? Like double 15-star, I don't even know how many accolades, says, and I quote, "If you're doing all the things and you're not successful yet, or if you're spinning your wheels and stuck and you're not there, or even if you are successful and you're just not happy, you absolutely need to invest in this." I can go on and on with testimonials endorsed by the top of the top in your Beachbody business. My goal is not to impress you. It's to impress upon you that this changes lives. It doesn't just change lives, it changes hearts. It rips away the layers of pain that are holding you back from the person you're meant to be. It is not a business training that teaches you Instagram stories or business funnels or all that stuff. That doesn't work until you resolve this, and especially this. It gets to the core of what's stopping you. It teaches you how to finally actually believe in yourself without having to fake it, and how to live every day with an actual smile on your face. It solves those 3 questions. And I'm not disappearing on you. I am there for you every step of the way. So just like we talked about, guys, business, success, and money are not going to bring you happiness. Happiness is going to bring you those things. And this is the only program I have ever seen in my life that teaches you how to actually be happy without having to fake it. It's how I went from stuck to where I am now. It's 7 years of personal growth that took me from $92,000 in debt to a high 6-figure income, changing lives all around the world. It will change your life as well. It's exactly what I did, step by step, the complete roadmap. So if you felt something real, if you've been living in a memory that says you're not enough, it's time to let it go. You've been spinning your wheels, wanting success, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Is success possible for me? Yes, it is. You just need to learn how. And that's it. Appreciation Academy will get you unstuck. Gretchen, all the details I'm going to post on a website here. Great question. So if you guys would like to grow together as a team, get the discounted rate for this program, all you have to do is head to bradbizjack.com/team-call. bradbizjack.com/team-call. There's an opt-in form. You can opt out at any time, no pressure whatsoever, right? There's an opt-in form. That helps me keep track of what team you're on, because if more than 10 people enroll, I'm actually going to give you an even bigger prorated refund. So it just incentivizes people to grow, and that helps me track where you come from. So once you fill out that opt-in form, the next page is all the sales information, what's included, all the stuff again. And again, that's bradbizjack.com/team-call. I promise you guys, use the 90-day guarantee. Complete the program. It will change everything for you, just like it's changed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Beachbody coaches' lives. So either way, It's been a privilege to serve you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for being here. Thank you for investing in your growth. And I cannot wait to see you and be your Coach and Appreciation Academy. And Samantha, I will turn it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. As you were talking, not only were we obviously saying yes every time that you said it, but people were like, bro, get out of my head. And like, you're saying everything that I'm feeling right now. People were crying during that gratitude thing. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with you or with us. And you guys, I will post the link and an image and all of that so that you guys can see more about his program in the team page as well, in Fit Vibes Tribe. So thank you for hopping on, and thank you again, Brad. Oh, let's do a quick boomerang. Take your phones back out. All right, I'll count us down. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Thank you again, everyone. Have a good night.